Hi, this is Greta from Managed Space, and today's video is going to cover avoiding vendor lock-in at your self-storage facility. So let's start out with the basics. What is vendor lock-in? Vendor lock-in is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you are locked into a situation where a customer, namely you, is using a product or service that you cannot easily transition to a competitor's product or service. And this is sometimes done on purpose. And there's been a lot of movement to get rid of vendor lock-in so that people can use products from more than one vendor at a time on the same system. So how do you avoid this at your self-storage facility, not being able to tell the future and what technology you're going to be deploying later? So my biggest piece of advice here is, first of all, before you get any technology, you make sure that it's open source technology, or specifically ask the vendor if they could potentially be locked into this particular service. So looking for open source technology, that means that the source code is freely available to use, modify, and redistribute. So some examples of open source technology that you will definitely realize are Mozilla Firefox, VLC Media Player, Linux, and Python. So when developers use these open source technologies to create their new system, they're using something that's been tested and used for years. And there's going to be workarounds and fixes for bugs and that kind of thing that's already been established. In addition, when you use this type of software, it's going to easily integrate with other open source technology software, so it'll easily work together. So there's some benefits of using open source technology, and we're going to apply this to the self-storage industry specifically, but across the board. Open source enables technology agility and typically offers multiple ways to solve problems. So you're going to get increased flexibility and agility. Then there's speed. There is a great advantage of open source technology, and that is the ability to take community versions and get started, and then understand whether you can solve your problem and begin to deliver the value right away. Next, we're going to talk about cost effectiveness. Open source solutions are typically way less expensive than enterprise environment or equivalent or superior capability. So you're going to get more for your money with open source technology. Also, the ability to start small. We're all starting small in the self-storage industry unless you're a REIT. So with open source, you can start small and then build upon the technology that you've deployed over time as you need to build upon it to make work easier for you. Then there's the solid information security, which is a big deal nowadays. You're collecting all kinds of financial data and personal data from your customers, and you want to make sure that that is secure. You also are going to be able to use this open source technology to share maintenance costs. One of the fundamental advantages of the open source community is community involvement. So rather than someone going out and writing an application and then having to build it, share it, and promote it yourself, you can share the cost of maintaining and sustaining the applications and programs that you've built. Finally, when you use open source technology, you're kind of looking to the future. The future is web, mobile, and cloud solutions, and they are definitely the dominant technology these days. So you're going to look for open source technology when it comes to all three of these things. Some data and analytics solutions are also available in open source, so you have a lot of options. So open source still has risks of vendor lock-in. The creator of your open source software may go out of business. They might decide to make some strategic changes to their software or change their license to be less open, Google, or stopping technology support altogether. So you want to go ahead and mitigate this risk by choosing an open source technology that has a really broad adoption, something everyone's already using. Even better, select a technology that is not owned by a single vendor. If lots of different companies are using it, then it's obviously going to work for lots of different companies. Using a limited range of technology within your organization or kind of rolling out your adoptions over time can provide better outcomes overall, and it allows people to build up better knowledge internally over time. Also, using open source technology is going to help you with onboarding, because if it's a system that your employees have seen before, it's going to take a lot less time to teach them how to use it. So I'd love to know what your experience with vendor lock in at your self storage facility has been, and also how you overcame it and what technology you're using now. And if you want to get a little deeper look into the process of crowdsourcing information and using open end or open source technology, visit our managed space community. This is exactly what we're doing there. We're using your insight, knowledge, and testing abilities to make the best possible product for the self storage industry as a whole. So, like, follow, and share, and be safe out there.